Hey guys, just a quick heads up. In this episode, we did lose a small portion of video of Devan's footage. We replaced it with footage of him making gestures and sitting there, and we are aware it's super funny to watch, but it's way less awkward than showing nothing, so please enjoy the episode.
All right, that's super loud. Welcome back to Tats and Gats podcast.
Episode 8.
Episode 8.
We can count now.
Yeah. Who do we have today?
Here with Devan from Socal Shoot Events.
Howdy,
Awesome.
howdy.
You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, first, sponsors.
Sponsors.
It's just RKB Tactical and Inkton Tools still.
Yeah, still, because we haven't got a sponsor yet. So,
But if you're out there, we're looking for season 2 sponsors.
You might be able to help out with that.
Oh, there we go. All right. We do start with a EDC pocket dump, typically. Okay. If you want to show a little bit about what you carry or talk about what you maybe carry or whatever.
Well, I don't have anything on me right now. I got to, represent a brand or anything. I don't have a legal CCW yet. That's the...
What county do you live in?
I live in LA County.
Okay.
Right smack dab between Compton and Paramount and stuff like that. So it's kind of, in there where I'm in the process with the application process and stuff like that too. But, 2 kids, family and everything trying to take care of. So it's kind of tight right now, but it's in there. And I believe that, having that and also doing everything all coincides with each other. So, I got to represent a brand, so I can't really be doing anything that's under the table.
Oh, for sure.
Wink, wink. Yeah. But,
I got you. Cool. How far along in the process are you for that?
To be honest, I have to check my emails and stuff like that too, but I already did all that stuff. I'm going to go through and do the CCW training soon. Hopefully you can be able to help you out with that in a little bit.
No, with LA County.
Oh, yeah.
You probably have to go to Medic Up. I know they're big.
Probably, yeah.
Big
Ron's a good dude.
Yeah.
He's helped me out in the past, and he's supported the events and stuff like that too. So there's always avenues that I can go through with it, but got trying to support the homies, you know what I mean?
LA is hard to get on that official instructor roster.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And then, so LAPD does it, and then the sheriffs do it. And I know they have 2 different criteria you got to meet. So depending on who you go to, and then the wait list's already long, 2 years and stuff like that too.
Wow.
But it all depends on how you do it. You can always just you always take the third option, but you just got to outweigh the pros and the cons for that. But
yeah. Well, I have no idea if this is factually true, but with SB2, I heard that if you are a CCW holder and under SB2, which luckily got struck down but it created all the sensitive areas. If you violated that, it was like a felony. You lose your firearm rights. From my understanding, and I don't know if SB2 also covers non-CCW holders, but if you don't have a CCW and you carry, it's a misdemeanor and a ticket. So I'm like, is it actually under SB2? Would it actually be better to not have a CCW and carry?
That's the thing, and it's funny that you said that. Where I work in downtown. So when the riots were happening, all the crazy stuff, people getting pulled out of their cars, I'm smack right between the 10 and the 110, literally right there. So I kind of chalked it up, I looked it up, and I'm like, hey, it all depends on if you have a clean record, because it's just a misdemeanor. It's kind of slap on the wrist, so I'm not going to take the chance to just be like one of those guys that get pulled out of their car. So for that, I was riding, hot for a little bit, but because I have kids, I have a family, I got to make money. Smack dab right between the Wuhan flu, I'm going to take my chances because I got to provide for my family. And
absolutely.
I'd rather just do that and then take whatever consequences come after that. But that's the thing. It's a misdemeanor.
Well, I think when you're in a situation like that, like when you specifically look at the riots of 2020, most people, I think, did what they had to do. Allegedly, myself included. It's just like I remember going to a baby shower, and but that was all happening at that time. It was like that day there was protests, riots all over, and I just had like a plastic, like one of those big like Costco tote, things. And I threw it in my trunk. My wife's like, "What's in there?" And I was like, "Don't worry about it." But it had like my helmet, my plate carrier, fire extinguisher, other things needed, like a full kit in there. And it's like, I am not going to be one of those people pulled out of my car.
It was crazy. You see it all over the news, all over Instagram, all over social media and stuff. And to me, I was like, I'll be down. I'm not going to be one of those guys. Nope. And from right where I work, you can see everything. Where all the military personnel were held, we're literally around the corner from where I work. Yep. So you could see all their the LMTVs, 5 tons, even where their sleeping quarters were. So it's wild, And I'm just like, safety is paramount at the end of the day, no matter what. If you just have your fists, you have a blade, or even if you were carrying, you just got to be able to take care of yourself. Because at the end of the day, I mean, what? Now they just said that police officers don't have the obligation to protect you, which is wild, you know, because the response times are already pretty high. Yeah. So, I mean,
especially in LA, they're busy.
100%. Yeah. I know a lot of people were carrying that way. I know I was during, like, you know, all the COVID stuff, but then it also helped people get their CCW because there was no in-person interview. So it's like a loophole or just a phone call, which, you know, people like, you know, look like me, roll into an interview. I'm, you know, I get approved. I look a lot better on paper than in person. So
no, you can't say that.
When I did it like 6-7 years ago, they did a house check, an in-person interview, all these things. And now they don't even ask, they can't ask why.
Yeah.
You don't have to give all this like proof of good cause 100%. And stuff. So it's good that it's getting better and easier. And even that you could apply and get it in LA County.
Now there's an option in LA County. I mean, there's a lot of hoops to jump through. It's not easy as like San Bernardino, Riverside. I mean, even in Orange County, but the option is there for those that seek it.
Yeah. That's why with SB2, I was like, I've jumped through all these hoops. I've paid all this money for my application. I've, you know, hours and hours and hours of classes and all this stuff. I'm sorry. That's where I draw the line. I'm not going to go through all of that just to have that right taken away by a BS law.
I mean, that's with every law that's there, you know? Yeah. I mean, it's just going to be there just to knock down the guys that are trying to do the right thing, because it's already known that criminals don't follow laws, you know?
Absolutely.
So they're just going to have whatever they want.
Yeah. So, okay. Sorry. We skipped past.
It's good stuff though.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Hey, you want to talk a little
it's funny that
intro about you and all that stuff?
I like to say I'm just a dude, you know. I'm a father first, husband second, and then everything else third, you know. And it's funny that I'm here, and thank you for the opportunity to come out and come on the podcast, because anytime I get a chance to represent not only myself but the firearms community as a whole, that's an option that I take, because just 2-3 years ago, I was just a dude that was just shooting, you know. It's not like it's like a big thing, but it's also a big thing to shoot and stuff like too. But now I'm representing a whole organization as a whole. Yep. So I try to put forth that good faith effort and stuff like that too. But yeah, I'm just a dude, you know. I don't have any event planning experience. I don't do this as a trade. I mean, I just watch surveillance cameras all day, you know. That's all night technically. But this is more of a passion project for me with Socal Shoot Events. That's actually how I met Lee and stuff, but it's just a way to bring back that camaraderie that we lost during, you know, 2020 and everything after that, because what I've seen, that was something that was needed and we lacked, and as a whole throughout the whole country, you know, not just Southern California, just centered and stuff like that. But that's what we got to start somewhere, you know. So actually, it's funny that how this all went about is that it was during the first CRW.
Okay.
So which is funny, it's in the same area that I'm operating out of now, because Borough, they have the facility to make sure we have all the personnel we can have, and basically it's more secluded, a little bit more intimate and stuff like that too. And it was just a conversation, because I'm not the first person to do this under this banner. I kind of took it upon myself to revive this and stuff like that. But that's cool. Yeah, so it originated 2012. You know, back then, you know, I had just joined the Army and stuff like that. So I was already getting into dipping my feet into the gun stuff. I mean, I'm a big gamer. I grew up, I'm 29, you know. So when I was a teenager, I was playing Call of Duty, playing Medal of Honor, all that stuff. So that's kind of where I got my gun stuff. I really didn't touch a gun until 17, until I joined the Army. So I was just like, hey, I like this stuff. So, you know, dipping my feet in here, especially in Southern California, meeting everybody off Instagram, just off the whim, you know. And then it's funny that I think about it now, it's just putting it all into words, that 10-year journey, 11-year journey now. You know, we're in 2024 now. And just coming into it, getting that camaraderie, getting that brotherhood that you feel from the military and stuff like that too. Finding this group that's just open arms type deal. I never had how do I put this? I never had an experience where I saw a gun that was like, whoa, it's mind-boggling, right? And I'm like, hey, is that this so-and-so gun? Yeah. And then they would just throw it in your hands, shoot it. Like, oh, well, do you want some money for ammo? Like, nah, just go ahead and rip it. You're like, oh, you only ever see this from like the movies or like video games and stuff like that too. So that kind of died out like in 2016, you know. So I'm really good friends with the people that were the originators of this. And before I even decided to take take this upon myself, I went to the guy that was doing it. He's a really good friend. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to do this, but I want your blessing to do it because, you know, there's some type of image that people have fond memories of this, especially the bear and stuff like that too. I'm like, hey, I want to do this. We're going to bring back the camaraderie, all their brotherhood, keep everybody tight because, I mean, just prior to this, maybe prior to 2016, the gun community was small, especially in Southern California. Everybody knew each other. Everybody was cool. All the companies, there weren't that many as there are now, which is always great. You know, so it was a very small, tight-knit community. And then, I mean, 2020, can you even quantify how many people got into guns or interested in getting into guns and stuff like that too? So I took it upon myself to just come and put this on. No experience, no nothing, just a dream, you know, and then just put it on there. And the first one went awesome. I mean, I've countless hours of just losing sleep. Like, is this going to go cool? Is this going to be good? I don't know what I'm doing, you know, 'cause I'm just one guy. All that stuff you see is just me.
That's
I mean, I have my, my friends, my family, my wife, and then they all support me and stuff like that too. But I mean, I'm just one dude planning it, securing the bays, securing sponsors, securing vendors, doing all that stuff. Thinking like, are people even going to jive with this? You know, because I mean, you hear it all the time. Like, I want to train, I want to shoot, but I just don't know how to get into it. I don't have anybody to shoot with. I mean, like, we have a little phone in your pocket. It's like a little computer, you know, like you can just hit someone up. And then I've never had anybody tell me no. You know, like, hey, now, or, you know, I don't only shoot with certain type of people. There are those people like that too, but everybody's so welcoming. So it's like, I have to put that as the basis of what we do is, the way we talked about with a couple of my colleagues and my friends, it's like, hey, we're breaking stigmas and making connections. That's like a fully funded thing, you know, where it's like breaking the stigma of what a firearm owner is, especially in Southern California, and what we can do. And it's like, you're not, all the firearm owners aren't what you see on the social media with all the, I'll call it a catastrophe events and stuff like that, with all these shootings and stuff like that. That's not who we are, but that's how we're portrayed. So that's the first part. And then making connections. It could be between, you know, two shooters that just come in like, hey, you know, so-and-so, or, you know, this vendor to vendor. I mean, collabs and stuff like that is always better for the community. And then and everybody as a whole, and then also making connections into their communities that aren't associated with two-way stuff. It's like, hey, you know, I donate money. It's like, hey, I heard you guys need money, or I heard you guys need some stuff. Let me help you out. You know, we were so graciously able to donate about $2,000 to this high school sporting organization this last year. They need money, man. They only had a $750 budget, which is crazy. These are high school kids, you know, out here in Southgate. It's like, I mean, I'm not doing this for the money. You know what I mean? If I make a buck, I make a buck here and there, but I'm doing this because this is a passion project for me. I'm like, these kids are going to be voting one day. These are going to be guys that are going to be coming up and that can propagate this community, because I mean, in 20 years, this even going to be here when they can vote, or even my children. You know, I have a 7-year-old and I have a 3-year-old. I want this community to be there when they're old enough, because I know what I got from it. And all the best people I've known in my adult life have been from this community. So how could I not at least do my part to, you know, make sure that this lasts? Because I mean, everybody wants to be an advocate. Everybody wants to be, you know, like a gun rights supporter, but are they really doing anything? I mean, yes, they're donating money to organizations, CRPA, FPC, USCCA, but that's like the umbrella of what the community is. And because they're protecting us from like all the SB2, all these rights of violations and stuff like that too. But what about the people that are under the umbrella, that are being protected by those organizations? That's what we're focused on, the people, because at the end of the day, they're the ones spending the money. So we want to be able to put forth an event that can support the guy spending the money. I mean, how many times have you seen people like tag someone on Instagram, like a big company? Oh, they're not going to see it. They're, you know, but I want to show that they're there. Our events are the time where people can meet the vendors. Hey, shake your hands, because I mean, testimonials are priceless. You know, like, hey, I enjoy your stuff, or heck, your stuff saved my life, for whatever it may be. So that's basically at the end of the day what it is. Just making sure, like a big shindig. I talked to Scott from Ironside podcast. He's a very good mentor. I told him, like, hey, how do I maybe market this a little bit better? Because, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it on the whim, you know? And I was like, hey, you're not a range day. You know, we're not Ohio range day. We're not CRW. But what are you doing? I was like, well, we're showing off what's the best and brightest of SoCal, what we got to offer, you know? So it's like, maybe call it an expo. I'm like, yeah, because that's pretty much what it is. You know, I like the way I like to see it's the doorway to the community. Yeah. Because a lot of people see a lot of these events are high level stuff. You're running and gunning, you're doing all this stuff. It's like, what about the guys that just like to plink or like to just walk around, mosey around, get the free stickers and stuff like that too? We have everything. We have everything for everybody. All type of flavors, you know?
It was a great event.
It was.
And it was so cool to see all these different people that you see on Instagram or meet new people. You know, I personally made a few connections like that where it's like,
yeah, 100%. Me too. I had a lot of guys come up. Hey man, I've been following you for a while. It's good to see you, man. Like, have any pointers? Like, yeah, man, just come on, shoot with me, dude. Like, you know, I'm like, you gotta start somewhere. Everyone starts somewhere. So, you know, we can get you up as whatever high as you want to go. You know, it's super cool. That was a super cool event. And also shout out to Scott. I love that dude. I love talking to him. Every event I run into, I'm like,
he made it down. Up, dude? He took the drive.
Yeah.
Because he's in Northern California, right?
He drove out for us, and it's like, dude, I appreciate it. Like, it means a lot to me because you took that drive. Not only that, and then it rained. Yeah. And I mean, heck, that even in its own right, I was just looking at the weather. It's like, oh Jesus, oh man,
it did rain that day.
I mean, unfortunately, I had to cut it a little early because I mean, I was seeing a lot of people don't have a lot of 4x4 vehicles, right? So it's like, it's gonna start getting muddy. It's gonna, you know, it's getting to where it got heavy. I'm like, I gotta cut it because out of safety concerns, you know. But even then, we had about over 200 people, which is double what we had the first year, and we were able to raise so much money. And that's what I want to do it for, because at the end of the day, that's another way, right? Putting forth the best message is at the core of what we do. So it's like, it's still good. I mean, people still even rocked with us even in the rain. So that's what I appreciate a lot. And
that was me. I was out there. They're like, "Hey man, we gotta go." I was like, "Just hold on, dude. The port side's here. I'm shooting some guns I never get to shoot." Dude.
So Kevin, shout out to Kevin and Tony with the crew. They helped me out so much because I mean, I'm meeting all these people and I'm making really good friends, really good connections. And then I take the friend word, you know, I don't take it lightly. So you know, I appreciate them and they're friends. So it's like them doing that for us. I mean, that. I don't even know how many people just came just for that. And their booth was stacked all day. I didn't get to shoot anything. I was running around with like a chicken with my head cut off, you know.
But shout out to your crew though, man. Like they ran it like solid, like check in here, go here, raffle, go here.
Yeah. I mean, my family were pretty much handling that booth. And I can't thank them enough. And they were on it. You know, they were already fed up and stuff like that too. But it's like, you know, they have to work. And it's like, hey, I mean, I got guys, if you want to step out and go do stuff. I mean, I didn't even get to take the picture, the group picture that we have. I wasn't even there because I'm trying to get everybody, you know. So yeah, the crew, the staff, they're all my really good friends. I'm like, hey, if you want, I mean, I can't pay you, you know, I don't even pay myself, you know, but if you can, you know, might be a very good, a lucrative opportunity to network and stuff like that with you, that I can offer you that. And a lot of people get that stuff out of it. So it's like, I mean, I can do that. If you need money, I'll give you money. I mean, I could take a little cut out of what we're doing and stuff like that too. But at the end of the day, I appreciate you rocking with me, because at the end of the day, it all pays itself in the end.
Well, like you said, it stood out to me, you know, like I'm just a dude. And I think that's applicable to so many of us, you know, like with my tattoo business, my other business, you know, Lee with his shooting thing. You see someone, not shooting thing, that
my thing.
Yeah, your little shooting thing. No.
Well, I feel it. He didn't mean that. It's okay.
But you know, you see people doing their thing on Instagram, or you go to an event like this, and it can be intimidating, and you think, gosh, this person's got all these. We're all just dudes. We're all just like a guy trying it out and making it happen, using our family and friends, and you know, pulling it together. People have walked into this studio for the podcast and been like, oh my gosh, it's so professional. It's like, dude, we're just three guys that pulled it together. Like, we just happened to make it work, you know. And
all you need is that. I mean, as long as you have loyal supporters, and I mean, I've recognized faces. I'm like, hey, how you doing? It's gone to the point where I go to other places and they recognize me, and I was like, oh, dude, like I didn't even think that. I thought, hey, can I take a picture? Like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess, you know, and that's cool. But what I do appreciate is a lot of people get a lot of stuff out of it. And then, you know, you get the messages, thanks for putting on an event. It's so great. and then they get something out of it too. The raffle table in its own right was what people come for. I get a lot of people. And I mean, this year, what do we have? We had a full rifle bill from Rifle Supply, 2 lowers that were Cerakoted and laser engraved with the bear on it, which was dope. Super dope. And then port side, they threw their stuff in. Chosen Armory, shout out to them as well. They dropped everything and they put out like 4 optics. Yep. Holosun, they came out some stuff too. I think in total we had 5 optics total and from them. I mean, that's more than double than what we had the first year. We had about 1 or 2 optics from other companies, but in 5 in total between Chosen and then Holosun themselves. We had Infinity targets. I mean, I'm just gonna probably plug everybody that supports them and stuff like that too. But they came out and they show up. They always come out. The Jello sauce guys, the Jello shots guys. A lot of people shot their stuff and they're like, "Hey, we sold out." I'm like, "Awesome," because that's one thing too. From my vendors, I know how much it takes to operate a booth like that. So I'm like, I don't want any of your money. Whatever you make is whatever you make, and you take it. And then that's my appreciation to you, because I mean, I only charge $100 to get on the to get a booth there. I'm not big enough to be like, I need $1,000. I'm like, I'm not going to do that to anybody, because at the end of the day, I keep saying that, right? I keep the cost of entry low for not only the guests, but also the vendors as well, because I want to put light on the newer guys, but then also have the big guys come out there too, so they can network and they can do that stuff. So the cost of entry is low for everybody, but there's always more opportunity to get up and get a little bit more notoriety in the events and stuff like that too. Getting on the flyers, getting your logo on the shirts and stuff like that too. There's always other avenues that I can, because it all coincides with each other.
That's so cool.
It was a super rad event. Like I was stoked to just go and just have fun. Usually I'll go to an event or I'll go to a class and I'm like in the zone, because I'm just focused on trying to like be the best shooter that I can at the time. Most people are like, "Oh man, I've taken this class. You were totally different like outside of that than here." I was like, dude, if I go to a class and you see me, I'm just in the zone. I saw you at
CRW in passing. You're like, I got to go to this class. Got to go to this. It's a full day thing. Well, weekend, that you got to be on it. You're laser focused. You're doing that stuff. And shout out to Tony and the crew. They helped me out the first year too. I mean, Eventbrite nuked my listing. Yeah. And then Tony was like, "Hey, I'll take care of the stuff and I'll sell the rest of the tickets for you." I was like, "Oh, thank you." Because luckily they refunded all the money to the people, which is great. They didn't like PayPal it and they just hold it. So everybody that bought tickets from them came in. I'm like, "Hey, I have your names down." I sent them an email. Just come in, just pay for your ticket. You already have your stuff locked in. Awesome. Because I did some pre-sale stuff. So you have your stuff locked in. Don't worry. Just come in and just pay the stuff, and then they got it. So luckily that kind of helped out. That worked out that way. But I mean, CRW is intermediate to advanced level. So like I said before, it's intimidating to some people. My event, I would like to say it's no intimidation. All experience levels welcome. All ages. I mean, I had my daughter there. There's kids running around all the time too. So that's what I think a lot of people love, because it's like they could come out and chill. That's the big thing. I mean, you get to just have a breather. Stress-free. It's a perfect time to come bring a new shooter or someone that wants to shoot a gun or has never shot a gun. Bring them here.
Plus there was tacos.
There's tacos. Shout out to Art and his dad. Come on to do some tacos. That's the second year that came out.
Hopefully, this year also they'll come out.
Yeah, I mean, we might have them back. I mean, they always have a spot with us. That's cool. I mean, they sold out of food. Yeah, that's always good. Even the first year they sold out. It's like they made a lot of good money.
It was like, go to the raffles. Like, I'll be at the taco truck.
I might change it up a little bit. I don't want to keep it the same. So there's always some new things that we might do for this year that I might think that I could switch it up a little bit. But it's going to be some fun times this year.
That's cool.
Can't wait for it.
Yeah, man.
I mean, later at the end of the podcast, I might drop the date.
Okay.
I just locked in Burrow again, so I might do that.
So I know we were talking about that, so that's going to be a crazy time of the year for
especially for you. I was like, usually always something like that too. I had to push it up in order not to interfere with CRW, because it's like, hey, I did it in October the first year. I'm going to push up a little bit out of respect for Tony, and maybe might lock in a little bit better time for me, but it's going to. I'll make it work.
So real quick, Eventbrite nuked your ticket sales because it's a gun related thing?
I'm assuming, either that or someone flagged it or whatever, because I see some other people listing on Eventbrite and then I don't see them nuking them. So I'm like, I'm gonna just chalk it up to just, happenstance and stuff like that too. But
it's good.
Yeah.
In case you want to work with them in the future.
Well, I have my own website now. I have my own payment and stuff like that too. So I don't have to worry about that. But I'll just chalk it up to that. You know,
I was to say I might be able to help you out with the Inkton tools if you
Awesome.
don't have a solution. You could like make it so you can take
We'll figure it
payments and
out.
stuff.
Well,
but if you don't have something,
well, I mean, now that we have this, I would say friendship and, you know, working together, well, we'll do something. We can work it out.
cool. Usually about halfway through, we take a little short break, reset. So we'll be right back with more from Devan. All right, welcome back. We have Devan here from Socal Shoot Events. Just took a short break and jumping right back into it. I had a question. What got you into firearms? What was maybe like your first experience shooting or taking a class or anything like that?
Well, mostly I'm self-taught because of time constraints and stuff like that too. Taking classes, being all day, you know, kids and stuff like that too. Mostly self-taught on the YouTube stuff while on my downtime, and then practicing manipulation and stuff like that on my own. Looking to take a lot more classes in the upcoming time because now a lot of my shooting time, a lot of my free time, it goes into doing the events like that too. So it's a, you know, a hand-in-hand catch-22 thing. But my first, I guess, delve into the firearms world, like I said earlier, is just going into the Army. You know, so that's pretty much, I would say, is the basics of the basics, you know, because you get on it, you know, they toss you a M16, you know, M16A2, so it's old already, you know, it's already all worn in and stuff like that too. But that's where I got it from. And then even then, learning how to do that, like I said, I'm a little gamer nerd and stuff like that too. So I mean, just playing all the time, it's like, oh, they did it like this in the game, so I mean, it should be like that, right? Just doing it, I'm like, okay, that works. And then just running it like that and going through basic, going through all that stuff, job training and stuff like that. That's how I got into it. And then right after that, I, you know, got my first stuff, started, you know, getting situated, you know, plinking, getting situated with my own stuff. But yeah, pretty much 17, right out of high school. Just
went right away.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you see a difference in training from the military side, like a combat related type of training to like the flat range Instagram fancy stuff here?
Oh, I mean, 1000%, because it's two different avenues of what it is. I mean, military training is one basics to get you out the door because it's all like pipeline stuff. But then, I mean, even then after that, all you do is quals and then like mobilizations and stuff like that, like mount stuff, training, things like that. But it's not like putting down rounds down range. So what I like to say is civilian shooters, unless you're like special operations where you're doing this day in, day out, are leagues better than people that are in the military on like line units and stuff like that too, because that's what they do. They practice just getting recoil control down, getting manipulations down, because everything in the military is all, you're getting basic stuff. Or people that have never shot a gun, or it's funny that the people that have never shot a gun do better than the people that have their own pre-existing experience. So they're overriding it, you know. So I used to do it this way. Well, we don't want you to do it this way. We want you to do it our way. So it kind of conflicts.
That's why in the tattoo world, I always told people, and I was told myself when pursuing an apprenticeship to learn how to tattoo, I was told by one of my artists, like, don't buy a tattoo machine and just start teaching yourself, because you're going to have bad habits and be harder to teach, because they're going to have to correct those things you learned the wrong way. So yeah, I see that.
That's what happens with a lot of people that I taught my wife how to shoot a gun, right? And then it's like they get into a class. You have your wife go to a class, and it's like, you know, that's like, you know, training scars and stuff like that too, if they taught you the wrong way, or if, you know, there wasn't that much information put down that way. It goes without saying, it's every avenue. If you have pre-existing information and then you go into a class, it's gonna conflict.
Yeah. Where do you see, you know, with these events, you know, you're well connected with all these different companies and trainers and all these things in the industry, especially in Southern California. Where do you see the industry going in the next, 5-10 years? And then maybe also on the back end of that question, what do you see for Socal Shoot Events in the next 5-10 years?
The first, we'll tackle the first one. Where's the industry going to go? I foresee the industry going the way of, as of right now, the industry is basically propelled by military advancements and stuff like that too. So every new gun is based off of the military gun and so on and so forth, ammo related stuff. It's, all the big ammo piles are from over on military contracts and stuff like that too. I foresee the gun industry starting to move away from that a little bit, because civilian sales and everything like that are getting, shot up. And then, so there's a big market, and I see a lot of companies already, catering towards the normal shooter, versus, you know, big contract stuff. That, I mean, there's so many ways to go do it. I mean, you see a new 2011 every day. Yeah. That's the new fad, right? I mean, it's sky's the limit for the gun industry. I mean, you see a lot more training, you see a lot more stuff, but I mean, who's to know where it goes, you know? I mean, red dots 20 years ago were kind of like, I don't need a red dot on my gun, this and that. Some
guys are still like that though.
Yeah, I mean, some people are, right? I mean, look how long it took for people to be cool with and it being a necessity to be on a rifle. I mean, iron sights were a big thing. I mean, pistol dots. Like, it needs a dot on it now. Well, a while ago, I mean, it's just, I need my iron sight because the only thing at that time was what, Trijicon with the RM1, and even then, it wasn't supposed to be on a gun, on a pistol, and then it's like, well, we put it on there, and then it adapts.
Well, we did it anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like there's so many things. I mean, sometimes the gun industry even goes off of competition shooters. So what they're doing, you know, 2 red dots, different zeros on the gun. It's like, why are you going to run 2 red dots on your gun? I mean, if you tried it, you would know, right? And then a lot of people are doing that now. So, I mean, you see the LPVO stuff, you see all that stuff. I mean, just whatever you want, you know, there's investments in every competition, training, military style stuff, or even civilian shooting and stuff like that too. So I wouldn't even know where to go with that. You know, that's
a huge argument conversation piece that goes forever. Gear, optics, and it basically comes down to whatever you are comfortable with, whatever you train with. Zeroing distances, whatever you're comfortable with, and know your holdovers at distance. That's the biggest thing. Well, why do you choose that? I don't know, because YouTube told me. Cool. So
YouTube.
You need to go relearn why you're choosing that number and
go shoot it. I have a 50-yard zero on my shorter AR. I have a 100-yard zero on my longer AR. I shoot both, you know, and they're for different reasons. Yeah. But it's like, there's purpose behind it. There's actually getting out and shooting those rifles, and
even ammo plays a big part into zeroing stuff. Well, they were using 50 yards and they were getting hits nice at 200. Why am I not getting that way? Are you using the same ammo they are?
I'm bad about that.
Probably not.
I'm straight up.
But that also comes into play with like the big ammo argument. Like you see all these guys getting all fancy with 300 Blackout or 6.5 Creedmoor, and they're like, "What do you use?" I was like, "Dude, I use 9mm, 5.56, and 308." They're like, "Well, why do you do that?" I was like, "Because that's what the military uses, just in case."
Yeah.
Also, train with AKs whenever you can, just in case.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I probably differ. It's like, I mean, one, military stuff like that. So you're going to see all that stuff. It goes back into the military stockpile stuff where it's the gun industry's propelled by that. And then, but so AK stuff, I mean, that's great. I mean, I have an AK myself, but it's like I'll train more with that stuff because at the end, if it comes shit hits the fan stuff, I mean, you're gonna see AR mags everywhere, and then it's all piecemeal. Everything works with everything because there's a standard of operations, like QC stuff. AKs, I mean, your mag might not fit in this AK, so if you battlefield pick up something, it's probably might not work, you know, or even ammo stuff.
But just in case.
Just in case the old,
Johnny Tran drops an AK somewhere on the motherland over here.
Some Red Dawn stuff.
Yeah, you never know. So
I watched Red Dawn on VHS on repeat at way too young of an age.
Did you?
Oh, it was my favorite movie. My dad recorded it off TV on a VHS tape, and I just watched it over and over and over again.
First Blood.
Oh, so good.
Is that your favorite movie?
That was like what I was exposed to as a child. I had some older cousins that were like, "We got to watch this." I was just like,
"Did you see the alternate ending to that movie?"
No.
Oh, you got to do that because it gets dark.
Oh, I like dark.
It gets dark.
I'm all about that.
Well, my favorite movie was Top Gun. That's what we were just seeing that stuff because my grandfather, I really didn't know him, but my dad's dad, he was an Air Force pilot. Okay. I think in Vietnam, Korean War and stuff like that too. So when I hear about that, seeing planes flying around everywhere, that's even now it's like the dopest movie.
Dude, I grew up on Miramar, where Top Gun used to be and where it was filmed at. Like as a kid, so that was my childhood.
I didn't get a chance to do it, but watching Top Gun on the flight deck down that way, I wanted to do it. I wasn't able to do it, but that would have been a blast.
Super rad.
You know, seeing all that stuff going around. That's awesome. And then the second movie came out. Oh, so good. Oh man, I'm a movie buff too.
Now they're doing a third. They just released it.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's like I think the only way they could probably end it is if you just Tom Cruise just got to go. You got to
you got
to kill him
Miles
off.
Teller's going to take over.
I mean, that's the same thing I think with
They'll pass the torch to him, and then he'll get 3 movies.
yeah. It's okay.
same thing I think with the John Wick stuff. You know, the movies are awesome, but it's like one of those things which like you could have just did one, maybe 2, but now there's like good 4 or 5 spin-offs. Like
we're filming more now. So
yeah, my favorite one is just the first one, and I stand by the thing like they should have just only did 1. Because it was just so
I think
good.
3. I liked the first 3. 4 started getting weird for me personally.
Wait for 5 and 6 that they're filming right now.
That's wild.
My opinion is 1, 2, 4, 3. 3 is the I don't like that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's because I saw 3 in the movie
3
theaters.
wasn't great.
Oh, okay.
Probably had something
3
to do
wasn't
with it.
great. It's, I give you that.
All right, a bad taste.
What are the future plans for
Yes.
this year for
That's what I
Socal Shoot
wanted
Events?
to
Any teasers
Yeah, we
you can
got
leak?
on to a little tangent and stuff like that too. But Socal Shoot Events, it will always happen, no matter what. I plan for this to be like its own self-sustaining thing. You know, merch side stuff, doing all that stuff, basically to making it to where it doesn't die out, because that's what happened the first time. You know, people grow, people move out for whatever obligations they do, so the need kind of died out. And I say need because it's, you know, brotherhood is always a need, and then making sure you have people that are on the same mindset of you, that are positive, that'll propel you. So that's kind of why it died out. We tried to revive. I say we because it's a whole organization now, but they tried to revive it. It really didn't go too well because around 2020, not a lot of money going around, you know. But I foresaw it happening in 2022. It happened. So from now on, I will make it my thing to just keep it going every year.
Okay.
At least one a year. My dream would have at least 2, you know, every 6 months. Make it a little like spring, winter kind of thing.
That'd be awesome because we don't have
Because I mean, I'm not dependent on the money.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of these guys are like, well, I need to fill this quota because I need to pay this. I need to pay myself. I have my own full time job. My wife works, so I'm not dependent on the money. So if I make a buck, I make a buck. If not, it's just a passion project for me.
That's cool.
So I foresee it going up. It's gonna get bigger. It's always gonna get bigger. It's gonna get better. That's for one thing. I want to up the ante every time. You know, we talked about some stuff this year. There might be some changes that I'm gonna do. Might throw some competitions in there.
I was gonna ask. I was like, I'd love to see a competition.
See, the way that I want to do it, 3-gun stuff is awesome, but it takes a little bit more effort to implement in a smaller scale. In a big scale, if you just one event, that'd be great. I could have multiple stuff, but I think I might do more of like a tactical games kind of thing. So it's like more like CrossFit, a little more. I don't like that word CrossFit, but that's basically what it is. Might do some sled carries. Farmers carries, maybe like a trap bar with some weight. They gotta like do a couple revolutions of that, some burpees, and then standing or kneeling 100-yard shot, 75-yard shot.
All AR or AR and pistol, keep them separate, keep them together.
Sky's the limit. It makes the timetable for me a little bit better, other than the training side. Because a lot of people come for the training because the last 2 years we did it to where, I mean, no extra cost to admission. You got free firearms training classes.
Yeah.
So I mean, I kind of saw it as like a demo into the curriculum of whatever trainer was there. So if you take that 1 to 2 hour block of instruction and you like the way that they conveyed the information, you could go and sign up for a full class. I mean, because at the end of the day, how much is a half day class from an instructor? $200.
Yep.
You know, so you got it for free. And then if you really like it, you first sign up for the full class. So you don't really feel like you're wasting money because it's not wasting, it's investing.
Yeah.
Investing in yourself and your gear. But it kind of really took a lot because I had to halt the events in order to make sure that the training went on as long as it needed to, so they could come down for the raffle, because I don't want to do the raffle while they're training. It's like, oh, they're not here, got to pick another name, and stuff like that too. So the competition side is a natural progression of what we're doing, because then I could just do the stuff. All right, we're breaking it this time. Everybody come down, because there's time slots, and it's a little bit more interactive. People get to do some fun stuff. Might try to get a VTAC barrier so people could shoot through that stuff, because a lot of people have never done that before. They may only be able to do it during classes. So we'll do that. I mean, top shooter gets a prize, maybe top 3 shooters. If there's a top male and female might do that. Who knows?
Ooh, I identify as female, so I can win both categories. Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah. If there's no females taking it, maybe top 2. And then what I want to do would be pretty awesome. Putting it down on my notebook, making sure if it works or not. I want to do out of every event, I might have 2 or 3 events that for the competitions. The top shooters go down to the vendor area, and I want to do like our version of horse. Where maybe it might put like a C-zone steel, maybe a 50 yard, maybe 25 yards, depending, and then they got to do like horse, but instead of horse, it'd be shoot. You know,
that's right.
So it's still the same thing. So they got to do some crazy stuff, 180 at faster, or however, you know, and then
cool.
so everybody can see them do it, put a little pressure that everybody's watching you, and then that top shooter wins like a grand prize. You know,
That's super
that would
cool.
be dope. And then it's a little bit more interactive, changing it up a little bit, make it a little bit more fun, and then there's that recording aspect to get a little bit more content, you know.
That's super cool, because like a lot of people like myself, like we'll do like cool stuff at the range, but like when you're at a class and you got 50 people behind you watching you, and you're just like, oof.
Yeah,
The pressure.
Yeah, I mean,
competition
you're getting a lot more on the camera now.
Yeah.
You see, he's doing the mark stuff, getting all that stuff. A lot of people like winning the patches because that's some grail stuff.
Yeah.
So let's do that. But let's give them something good. I plan on buying one of those new shot timers from what's that? Shooters Global.
Yeah.
That new timer. I might buy one of those.
Is that the one Manzano Tactical had that day?
That has a magnet. It has like a screen. You can have a little app on the phone, overlays it on the video. So it's some dope stuff. You know, we've evolved. Even timers have evolved. You know, from the pack timer into full LCD stuff on your phone, even on your watch.
Yep.
You know, we'll have that too. Might have an acro up. You know, you can win an acro, or top shooter gets to pick what prize they want, and the second one gets the stuff like that.
I'm glad to hear that, because competition sounds so fun.
You got. I better see you.
I'll be there.
Stuff like too. So
I'll sign up.
I might do weight limit stuff. That's a little bit more intuitive. You might have to have a plate carrier, gun belt, do stuff. Do that, and then run that. I mean, the sponsors and the vendors have been so gracious to me. Investing their time and their money into the event, and they get what they come back, and then we have some dope stuff and down the pipeline as just even prizes alone. I already have prizes that are coming in, and it's not going to be until later on, you know, and it's only January, and I'm already making moves to make sure that this is some dope stuff.
Rad.
Like last year, are you going to do like an early ticket release?
Yeah.
Oh, so get on that, people. I did that. He didn't. A bunch of my friends did not.
I didn't.
No.
I never listen.
Yeah, I was like, hey, do this, dude. And it's like limited time. I was like, yep. I was like one of the first ones to sign up. I was like, cool, let's go.
The way that I do it, I like to do it maybe like a couple months ahead, so I could get that initial estimate.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, all right, cool. And then these certain amount of people get something extra. This year we did about like some exclusive sticker packs and stuff like that too. So everybody loves that stuff. So I might change up the designs, do that, see what I can do, because obviously money's, you know,
in the bullet
allocated to something like that too. So, you know, I might change it up a little bit to see what works, see what doesn't.
We're there. Tacos and competitions and just chilling with people.
Yeah, chilling there. Win some prizes. You know, there's some dope stuff. Even then, just going around the vendor village. We last year, I think we had about 20.
Yeah.
The way the setup was, it's evolving every year. It's the way it's trial and error. You know, growing pains, see what works, see what doesn't, and then unfortunately, we're at the mercy towards the Forest Service up there, because the area that I operate on the borough, the heavy machinery comes in and out. So I don't know if they're going to be doing it that day. So parking kind of gets limited. So it kind of starts becoming like a clusterfuck. You know.
But I heard they're like they have a stand down on the weekends now there. So
really,
you'll probably be
that's so much better for me, because then I can use that whole thing for parking and have a designated parking person. Because that helps me, I can get that other big bay. Because you know how borough is. There's 4 big bays. So the first year I only locked in 3. The last year I locked in 4. So that whole thing was me. So if I could lock in 4 and they have a stand down, I could do like a long range 100 yards plus, so people can do some big boy stuff on steel and they can hear that stuff.
That's cool.
You know, I have some people coming in from Vegas.
Who? Do I know? Do I know?
Maybe. I mean, I'm a shotgun dude, so something big for me is Vane Comp.
I think
Vane Comp shotguns there. I have a really good friend out there, and Cody's awesome. Shout out. They're gonna come out. I mean, California is, you know, shotguns are pretty much open season. You can do whatever you want, and they do some really good stuff. like, you know, nerding out on all that stuff, right? You can get a fist size pattern with good buckshot, like at 20, 25, 30 yards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you know anything about, you know, buckshot, especially double out buckshot, that's the pellets are 9mm like size.
Yeah.
That's 8 to 9 of them coming down screaming.
Yeah, shotguns are a beast, man.
I need to get into more shotgun because I just have my key to the city shotgun for doors. That's the only.
I have I have that, and then I have a hunting one for bird hunting.
I mean, you can. There's so many loads out there for shotguns that are good, not only for hunting. Then you got slugs for, you know, reach out, touch someone, do some damage. But then, you know, there's double lot. There's number 4, which is good for home defense because it won't penetrate, you know, drywall as much as like a 9mm or a 223. Like, so like if you're in an apartment building, you should be good. You should be golden. And then there's 27 pellets in a number 4 buck. So you can go out to the weeds and the old Clint Smith argument. You shoot someone at the right distance with the right load, and you take a chunk off them and stuff like that too. They're picking their arm up. You know, they're Saving Private Ryan scene where he just picks up his arm.
Awesome.
You know, you think some stuff like that.
Clint Smith's
gets
man.
Okay.
We only have a few minutes left. I want to ask
rapid fire questions. Let's go.
Yes. Well, we'll jump to the
big one.
The big one.
Do the big one. Do the big one. What do you think currently is the biggest threat to this country? Oh yeah, the toughie. But we like the
biggest threat.
Yeah.
Misinformation and our government. Not in the sense of the government, it's like, yo, they're being tyrannical. It's just that the government really isn't putting America's good faith and the image forward in the best light. Because I mean, 20, 30 years ago, we were powerhouses. You know, no one would even think about coming around doing this stuff. But then, I mean, as time goes forward, starts getting lax and stuff like that too, and not to mention even foreign policy and stuff like that too. So I'd knock on wood. I hope nothing happens as in the sense of like, you know, terrorist attacks and stuff like that too. But it's getting to the time where we don't have that big stick, you know, so people, you know, warning people away, you know, because the only time something like that only 2 times that's happened in our country, and it's like ever since that, you know, military industrial complex ramped up and then no one touched us. But so now that we kind of have like this PC culture where it's like, oh, we could try them now, you know, so that's one big detriment to the society that I see coming out, and then misinformation, you know, I mean, they're already infecting the youth, and then the youth is what's going forward, you know, so it's one of those scary things. It's like, I mean, 50, 60, 70 years ago, we were teaching kids how to shoot guns in school, and it was cool. There was nothing going around, but you know, all this crazy stuff going around now, and not to get too in the weeds with like all that political stuff, but it's like everything's so confused, everything's so upside down. You know, it's that bizarre world stuff where it's like left is right and right is left, down is up, and it's like that's one thing too that I foresee coming down. That's going to be a big thing, and there's going to be this culture shock, this culture war that's going to happen, and you just got to be ready. You know.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Before we close it, do you want to plug anything? Any Instagram pages?
Main one, Socal Shoot Events, obviously. Because at the end of the day, we're community ran, we're community driven, and it comes back into itself. So please follow the account, share the stuff. We have some stuff. We have a training opportunity coming out with Forefront Defense. They're posting a little bit more of an intro to pistol, little skill builder thing that's coming down on February 3rd. I've been granted the opportunity under Socal Shoot Events to help them out and bring an available and a not intimidating aspect where people could get into it. It's $100. Please sign up to that because that directly goes into the Socal Shoot Event stuff, and it's put on by one of my great sponsors, Alan with Shit Hits the Fan belts and the Tap Rack Bang guys. Please take that because it's gonna more avenues for training is always great because availability is already slim to none with these top level instructors, right? You know, Mark, Kyle Manzano, who else? Tony with all the guys and stuff like that. There's so many to name that I can't even remember off the top of my head, but please, that's one that I need to go ahead and plug out right now because that's what's going to come up next, and it directly feeds into the events. And then just check out our sponsors on the on the I'm not gonna say YouTube. We do have a YouTube page, but on the Instagram page, there's some coupon codes there. You see tags on the pages. Go support them because they come out. They take the time. They're coming from Arizona. They're coming from Vegas, and that takes time. Yeah. And then just come to the event. Just keep your turn the push notifications on. Okay. Shout out to Tats and Gats podcast. Make sure you watch this and stuff like that. Not just mine, but but everyone, because Lee, I mean, we just happened to just cross one day, and then you've become a really good friend. And then Alex, I foresee that happening with you too. But these are some dope dudes that are doing some great stuff for the community, not just on the this side, but tattooing world, your shooting world. And just support everybody. If we can get everybody up to where we're all on the same page and we're all like happy-go-lucky and we're with everybody, because there's so much division, you know. And then sometimes there's high school drama. That's what turns off a lot of people. Yeah. And you would think, right, that we wouldn't have high school drama anymore, but there is. But just everybody just be a good dude. At the end of the day, barrel on, be a good dude. Yeah. Help out your buddies, help out your peers, and just that's what I leave it at. Be a good dude.
Solid.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate your time. Thank you. Check them out.